In meditation practice, we are learning to dance with the paradox of being and doing, recognizing awareness, that which is aware, and then the impulse, the response to the moment, that which does something. And at first this can be a little bewildering. We tend to preference one over the other, whether it's doing something or simply resting and being aware. This is from the Visuddhimagga, the book, The Teachings of the Buddha, called Body and Mind. When body and mind dissolve, they do not exist anywhere, any more than musical notes lay heaped up anywhere. When a lute is played upon, there is no previous store of sound, and when the music ceases, it does not go anywhere in space. It came into existence on account of the structure and stem of the lute and the exertions of the performer. And as it came into existence, so it passes away. In exactly the same way, all the elements of being, both corporal and non-corporal, come into existence after having been non-existent, and after having come into existence, pass away. There is no self residing in this body and mind, but the cooperation of the conformations produces what people call a person. Paradoxical thought it may seem, there is a path to walk on. There is walking being done, but there is no traveler. There are deeds being done, but there is no doer. There is a blowing of the air, but there is no wind that does the blowing. The thought of self is an error, and with all existences, as we hollow the plantain tree, and as empty as twirling water bubbles. So this really alludes to when we deepen in practice, we begin to see this paradox of not really doing anything and yet things get done. And at first, we may use mindfulness meditation to help scaffold into this recognition of what is aware. In mindfulness meditation, we tend to analyze, use the analytical mind to systematically deconstruct this sense of self that is, in the Buddhist tradition, an illusion. We begin to name or label what is happening, thinking, seeing, feeling, breathing. So this helps us deconstruct and become free of the contents of mind. And yet there is this sense of doing that we can sometimes start to cling to in our meditation practice because that's a safe tool. We like our tools usually. So in awareness practice, we are setting down those tools. We're picking them up. Let's say if you're really charged or if something happened and there's a lot of reactivity, it's totally appropriate to pick up that hammer and start to deconstruct so that you can become aware of what's happening. The mindfulness part is the cognition, the knowing of the different pieces or different parts of our experience. In awareness practice, that sense of knower, that cognition falls away, and it just is awareness. Nisargadatta from I Am That. When there is a person, there is also consciousness. I am mind. Consciousness denotes the same state. If you say, I am aware, it only means I am consciousness or mindful of thinking about being aware. There is no I am in awareness. Awareness is that mirror-like part of us, non-judgmental. It just is. So what we're going to be doing in awareness practice is really learning to relax this sense of doing. Noticing when the doing comes up, noticing when we're trying to do something, and seeing if we can ease around this. There are a couple of experiences and from my own meditation practice that helps to inform my understanding of the pure isness of awareness. That it is beyond this sense of doing. On a 2-month meditation retreat, concentration got really, really, really strong for me. And I was able to stay with the dream process as I started to dream at sleep. So, at first it kind of gets fuzzy when we begin to fall asleep, and then these images come, and then there's no really sense of anyone dreaming. It's just happening. It's just images unfolding. And then the cycles get deeper and deeper, and things begin to just fall away into this pure isness. And then, of course, it becomes again, and the dream cycles start over. And so these cycles just continue and continue and continue, and yet there is this sense of that which is aware that can continue through no matter which part of the cycle. Another interesting moment on the retreat was when concentration became so strong that the physical realm disappeared. This whole sense of body, this whole sense of world disappeared. And there was just that which was aware. There was absolutely nothing. And then, of course, it was born again. So from I am that, once again, Nisargadatta, awareness becomes consciousness when it has an object. The object changes over time. In consciousness, there is movement. Awareness by itself is motionless and timeless, here and now. And as we deepen into practice and life, it is possible for this sense of awareness, this relaxing into being and doing, to come together into presence. We can begin to notice when our mind splits into dualities. And not that that's a problem, we can just begin to recognize it and say, okay, there is a bigger picture here that perhaps I'm not in touch with in this moment. Nisargadatta, again, he says, give attention and you will find that birth and death are one, that life pulsates between being and not being, and that each needs the other for completeness. So again, we can recognize our preferences, whether it's relaxing into being or doing a lot, and not making anyone wrong. We can begin to learn how this dances and how this flow happens, and how they really do augment each other. In the book, The Gift, has poems from Hafiz. This one is called The Seed Cracked Open. It used to be that when I would wake in the morning, I could with confidence say, what am I going to do? That was before the seed cracked open. There are two of us housed in this body, doing the shopping together in the market and tickling each other while fixing the evening's food. Now when I awake, All the internal instruments play the same music. God, what love mischief can we do for the world today?